welcome to Swinn's Travel HQ, and today we're going to be talking about how to keep your checked-in bag safe and secure and keep it away from thieving people and thieving hands. 26 million suitcases get lost every year in the airport, and over 1 million of those never get returned. They're lost forever. On top of that, hundreds and hundreds of people report items stolen from their bag. Many airport staff and people involved in the industry get sacked every year to do with stealing from your luggage. I've been travelling both for work and for pleasure for many years now, and I've learnt a few things on the way. So let me come up with some tips and hacks and hints of how to keep your checked-in bag secure. Looking at that TSA lock that you see on suitcases. In my research for this, I was surprised to find out something that I never knew before, and I was quite amazed. Also, you've heard about the ballpoint pen trick, haven't you? And that's basically opening up your suitcase, opening up the zip with a ballpoint pen, sneaking your there, stick your fingers in, and stealing some of your belongings. So, number one is don't put anything expensive in it in the first place. Ridiculous, isn't it? Putting something really valuable in your checked-in bag. But we've all done it. I've done it, I must admit. We travel quite a bit. We travel down to Thailand, and it's quite a long way. And we want to take stuff with us. We can't put it all in our hand luggage. So we're then forced to put things into the checked bag. So there are a few tricks and things I've learned on that. While I'm at it, another thing, just do not put in your checked-in bag is your blinking passport. Don't put your passport or your insurance documents into that bag. I've stood behind people trying to find their passport out of their checked-in bag. They're having to undo the locks, undo the case, get in there, search through it, all to find their passport because they went to check in. Although they put it into their suitcase for safekeeping, they've forgotten and left it there. So make sure your passport isn't in there. Please, because I don't want to be behind you. Don't buy an expensive bag. I know certain people who buy Louis Vuitton or a Gucci bag. They think they look wonderful as they go through the airport. But of course, any want-to-be thieves out there, they're going to be looking at that bag thinking, that's a Gucci bag, that's a Louis Vuitton bag. It must have something expensive inside it, and if there's nothing expensive inside it, it's probably worth nicking the bag, because some of these bags cost a lot of money. And I know one person who will be nameless, but they know who they are. They've got a Louis Vuitton bag. They thought it was wonderful. It's a carry-on bag, but they now go around with a cover over the top because they don't really want to get it scratched or anybody see that they might nick it. Don't carry a bag that's expensive. Good quality. Not too expensive bag, but something that's strong and useful, and something that's not too heavy as well. When you pack your bag, it's quite important that you pack it securely and tightly. But if you pack it nice and tight and secure, you can then, if you've got something expensive, or not too expensive, but something that's of value and you don't want them to steal it, if you roll up, let's say, your t-shirts and things, put it in the middle of the roll-up t-shirts, pack the bag tight, so if they do get their hand into the bag, they can't easily find where your valuable bits are. Tight and secure. The other idea is to use plastic boxes. I use that quite a bit for sort of odd creams and things, but also if you've got something that's valuable, put it in a box, make that tight, make it bigger than it really is. Supposing it was a, let's say, maybe a necklace or something rather that you wanted to take with you. Then you put it in a box, wrap that up, make it all very tight in your suitcase so that it's not easy to get out through a hole, let's say, in the zip. Another practical way is to use these packing cubes. To me, it seems a fairly new idea, but I've tried them and they seem to be really great. So you get a packet of assorted fabric-made boxes that you can put all your belongings in. You can keep your underwear tidy, keep your socks tidy, maybe a bigger one for your shirts and another one for your shorts, and that way that fits neatly into your suitcase. And by doing that, then again, hides in there anything that you want to keep out the way from thieving fingers. Next time you buy a suitcase and you buy what they call a clamshell suitcase, you know, the sort I've got here, where you've got a separate top and bottom. Now, most of those have some sort of netting or a piece of plastic to hold the first layer in the lid. Another suitcase I have over there, which I like quite a lot, that has netting top and bottom. So therefore, if you put your belongings in there, zip it up in that bit or in a pocket inside that netting, in that particular one, then put between the two nettings maybe some t-shirts or jeans or something or other. You then made it very, very difficult for anybody to get their hand in and get to what they want and trying to get it out through that zip. So I've done a bit of research on this, and I was actually very, very surprised. Looking at locks that you might put on the suitcase. Now, a lot of them, again, picking my little green one up here, I don't know if you can see it properly, but if you look there, you see there's a combination lock, and beside it there's a TSA lock, so it's a double lock. Now, your options quite simply, aren't they, to zip it up and put a padlock on there so that it holds the zip together, but you need a padlock that is tight, that's going to make that zip very, very tight together. So you need quite a small padlock, really, is the best idea, not one with a big loop. Another option is to use one with a combination lock, and those I prefer, I must admit, because they keep it smooth, nothing gets knocked off accidentally, and it's quite secure, really. As secure as you're going to get. And then the third option is to use either the padlock or the combination lock with that TSA key in it. Yes, the Transport and Security Administration in the USA, and nearly all bags will be x-rayed and checked to see what's in them. Now, they can't always see what's in them by an x-ray, so if you've got something solid in there that they might think is drugs, or you've got something a bit, maybe a coil of wire they might think is something else, then they might decide that they need to have a little look into it. So when they do that, now how are they going to get in the suitcase? If you've locked it, they're going to have to cut the lock off if it's a padlock. If it's a combination lock, they're going to need to prise it off. But the idea of the TSA lock is that there's a separate little lock that no matter what combination's in there, they get their master key and they can unlock it. Therefore, they don't damage your suitcase. Now, that to me sounded an absolutely brilliant idea. I thought, well, that's clever. So over the years, they look a bit stronger as well. I've tended to go for the TSA locks. I didn't really look into it much. But now I have done a bit of research so I could give you some ideas here. Brilliant idea. I thought, what perfect way, isn't it? Perfect life. But then you find out a lot of countries don't actually use it, so they might prize it off anyway. A lot do. Most of Europe does. The UK does. Australia does. I think China now do. They weren't doing it before. Thailand I go to. Apparently don't, but they may well do. But so I got in my mind, anyway, that's the best way around. So in my head, I got this picture of a TSA officer getting my suitcase, wanting to have a look inside. So he walks down the row and there's this big bunch of keys. He looks at my lock and thinks, yeah, that's what I need, a number XYZ. And he can undo my lock. Brilliant, isn't it? I thought. But then doing my little bit of research, much to my amazement, here we have a master key for my suitcase. I bought it off of Amazon. Now that's not the shock. The shock is that this key is James Bond's number, 007. Okay, now the other thing that absolutely surprised me, and I really still can't believe it, is the fact pretty near every suitcase that you can buy is 007. Nearly every one. I think Samsung have a slightly different number, but they've all got the same number. A lot of the padlocks, I've got one there, I'll show you in a minute. That padlock is also a 007. I've also got a 002 master key, and that's for some of the other padlocks. So the two keys I bought fit nearly all of the TSA locks. So if I'm a thief, all I need is that key. And if you've got the normal one, I'll bet you if you go and look at your suitcase, it's going to say TSA 007, but more than likely it's never going to go above 8, because from what I've read, there are only 8 master keys. So I'll let you work out whether it's worth using that or not. I think it's absolutely crazy. So basically, although you've got this lovely security, you've got a single key that will undo it. So that's daft. And I might add, I bought them on Amazon. The 2 keys cost me £5. Okay, it's about $6 US. So absolutely crazy. Anyway, that's my little rant about that. I think personally, I still will carry on using that lock, because I think most people don't know that anyway. I think it's very unlikely that person who steals from your suitcase is going to be purposely there, because what they're going to get from it is going to be pretty low value. It's more likely to be just someone who's a little bit light-fingered and hopes you put a watch in there or a bit of cash. They're probably opportunists rather than them doing it from a plan. So there you go. TSA Locks. Ha! We'll still be playing with the idea of trying to get in with a biro. We'll try that later on towards the end of the video. You really can break into a suitcase. Let's look at the next thing to keep your checked-in luggage safe and secure. There are 2 or 3 ways that you can then still make that suitcase secure, whether you lock it or not. So one of those, and I'm sure you've seen it when you go to the airport, you've seen these wrapping services where they basically put your suitcase on a stand, they swivel it around, and they put what I call cling film. I know Americans have a different name for it, and I really can't remember what it is at the moment, but I will put it at the bottom later. So yeah, wrapping it in cling film all the way around, so therefore people can't get into your case. And if they can get into your case, they can't get it to your lock anyway without undoing all that cling film. The other one are these brightly coloured straps. You know, the straps that you go round the suitcase. Well, if you use 2 of them, one round this way and one round that way, that's going to make your safe pretty secure. And if it's fully packed like my suitcases usually are, then that actually holds it so tight that you really could open it even if you got your finger in it. So that's another way of doing it. And again, that's quite easy for the TSA man to take off. Get these with combination locks as well. So that makes it nice and easy. So I must admit, it doesn't happen to me. And I've never had my suitcase opened. If you go to baggage reclaim where the carousel is, the carousel comes round, and I've seen it 2 or 3 times where there is a bag there that looks like it's split open. Now that is where the customs/TSA officers have opened up the bag and had a look inside. If there's anything in there untoward, I'm sure they would let you know, or at least you get a tap on the shoulder and they take you into a little room and ask you questions. Following on that, wrapping the suitcase, putting a belt on it and holding it or secure it is one way. It's available on Amazon and quite reasonably priced, about £10, is this. Okay, hold it up there. Can you see my pretty bag? Okay. That pretty bag is available in all sorts of combinations of colours from various suppliers. This one I looked into seems to be pretty good. It's made of a waterproof fabric, so that if you leave your suitcase out and it gets wet, then all your baggage is not going to get too wet inside. It's got holes where your handles come through and where the tool handle that you need to wheel it along with. And on this particular one, it's got a zipped bottom so that it zips up tight, and then it's got a strap in with a clasp as well there. Now, so as you can see from that, if you put that over your suitcase, that's similar to what you're doing with the cling film. So what you've done, you've now covered your suitcase completely. You've covered up the lock, you've covered up the zip. So you've covered up everything that the thief might want to get hold of. So for them to try and get into it would take them quite a long time, so that it would look at the suitcase that's next to yours and leave yours alone, which is the object really, is to make it hard to get in. They're never going to be impossible on a suitcase. Let's face it, you go there with a big knife, you can cut a hole in it. What it's going to do is increase the time that's going to take them to actually get into the case. And if you can do that, then they are going to be less likely to want to pick your suitcase out of all the others. So I think that's quite a good idea. I'm going to try that this time. If you stick with us and check out our flight to Thailand later, you will see that I will be carrying that bag, and you will see how well it works out. I think it will protect the bag from bumps and scratches. I think it will keep it waterproof. I think it will keep it away from sticky fingers. And I think it's a pretty good idea. So it'll be interesting to see how that bag fares. Now, in doing the research for this, someone came up with a very, very simple idea to cover your zip and to stop sticky fingers getting in there again and slow them up. And that was actually to use brightly coloured duct tape. You know the tape you use when you want to repair your guttering pipe or something or other, usually silver. It's that, you can get it in bright colours. The idea is to wrap that around the zip so that you pull it off when you get there. It's going to be a bit sticky, certainly if you go to a hot country, it's going to be all ugh. But it would work, wouldn't it? Quite a cheap way of doing it. So whoever you are, thank you. But by the way, while I'm talking about it, if you've got any ideas or any suggestions that you might like to put forward and tell us ideas that you have, please leave them in the comments below. If you've got any opinions, certainly let's say about the TSA lock and what you think about it, yeah, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to see what people think. I wanted to talk about the luggage tag that you put on your suitcase. You know, basically when you go to check in your luggage, they put on that big long sticky tape thing with a barcode on it that is all the information that your suitcase needs to go through their windy system and end up on the plane, hopefully your plane. So I always a favourite of put the luggage tag on the outside just in case that gets damaged in any way. But the important thing is not to put your phone number on it or any real personal details. What I tend to do is put my name on it, I then put my flight number on it, and then I usually put my email on it, and that way that should it go missing, they know where it is. The reason I put my flight number on it is that if it's gone off somewhere in their mess of millions of suitcases, and by the way they have thousands every year left over these airports, so if it's amongst all that lot, at least if it's got like your flight number on it, they can pick up the flight number, they know where it should have gone even if it didn't get there. So if it's you're going to India, let's say, and they find your suitcase in Japan, they know they put it on the wrong plane, and it's really good to go back to India to find you. It's got your name on it, got your email so they can get hold of you. Now the other thing I do, and that's really because I don't want to lose it completely, which could happen, is I do put my name and full details in there, like phone number and various other details, but I put that on a label on the inside. I usually laminate it, and it's actually on the inside of my suitcase. So you've got to open my suitcase to find out who I am. If you put that information on the outside of your suitcase, like your phone number, and your address even, some people I've seen do. All right to put your hotel where you're going to, that's okay. But don't put your home address on it, because then someone there in the baggage area says, oh, that guy's on holidays, house is going to be empty for the next couple of weeks. What a good idea, we're going to nip down to Sussex where I live and go and see if he's in. Apple AirTags and the Samsung equivalent, and some other makes, some smaller, cheaper brands that also make the sort of tags that work in the same way. Now, from what I understand it, the way they work is you put it in your suitcase travels off, your suitcase gets lost for whatever reason, maybe someone steals it, then you look up on your phone to see if you can find it. Now when you do that, immediately your AirTag that's in your suitcase will start beeping, and it will also send a message to the nearest phone, because that's how it finds you. It doesn't go onto the internet, it connects to you via somebody else's phone. So any phone that's near it, it can connect to, and I think they're working it now so it can even go Apple or Android, it doesn't matter which, it will connect that way. But what it will do to prevent people keep a track of them, I suppose, and spy on other people by putting trackers in their pockets and things, is that phone will then get a message to say there is a tracker nearby that is trying to contact someone. It will be beeping as well. So if you were the actual burglar who nicked it, then you're going to hear it beeping, it's going to come up on your phone. So is it worth it? I am not sure. Having said that, if it does get lost at the airport, a bit like I said before, you were going to India and it's ended up in Japan, you will be able to see on your phone that your suitcase is now in Japan. That could be handy. You could bring the airline and perhaps get hold of them. I probably have mislaid, I won't say lost, but sort of lost 3 bags in my time, but I always, if not eventually, I think the longest was a week, been eventually reunited with them. But there are a lot of bags that do go missing, in fairness. So whether you want to put an AirTag in there that's going to cost you, what they cost, I don't know, 60 quid, something like that. The cheaper ones I've seen are about 20 quid. Whether you want to put that in there, it is up to you. It's me, I think it's a bit overkill. It depends what's in your bag, I suppose. So it's all about choices, isn't it? You also, so you not only lost your bag and all your baggage, but you also lost your 60 quid AirTag. Yeah, I don't know. I will try and do a bit more research on this, and maybe I will come up with a separate video all about it. But if you've got any opinions on the AirTag situation and whether you think it's a good idea, just let me know in the comments down below, and then I'll look into it and we can see what we can do. And I'd love your opinions on it. I may have got it slightly wrong, but I don't think I have. No, don't go away yet. The video's not finished. We're going to try and break that conspiracy theory, or might be true, it might not be a conspiracy theory, in which case it's just a theory. So we're going to find out whether you really can break into a suitcase with a normal ballpoint pen. I've got some suitcases here. I don't really want to break them all, but I'm going to give it a go. I've got different pens, different styles. I've had a go at a couple already, and so far, I must be honest, it's not worked out well. I haven't managed to get in, but I found quite a stronger pen this time, so I'm hoping I might be able to do it. So let's give it a go. Let's try this one first. It's quite a new one, fairly wide teeth and no cover over the teeth. I don't really want to break it because, to be honest, this is my favourite. My laptop and everything else goes in this one. So I think we're going to try it in that bit of the case and see what happens, shall we? So we're going to insert it there. Whoa, we're in. My God, it's as easy as that. So let's see. That totally fooled me. I was supposed to be breaking into the old case and I've just gone straight into my brand new one. Right, can I? We're going to try now to see if I can repair it by zipping it back again. And we can't. Oh, maybe we can. Yeah, we fixed it. Thank goodness for that. Okay, so I will show you once again how easy it is. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to bring you over here. Let you have a look. Come a bit closer. I'll come closer to you. Better, isn't it? Yeah. So there is my zip. There's my ballpoint pen, stronger than the ones I've been trying before. And we're going to see if it will go in. Can you see that? Here we go. Let's try it here. In between the zip. Reasonable bit of pressure I'm putting on here. We're in. As you can see, we're in. And it's as easy as that to get in your suitcase. There you go. That's absolute proof. It's so easy to get into certain cases anyway with a ballpoint pen. The only thing I would say is a bit of advice when you're looking for a suitcase. Some of the suitcases have a fabric cover over the zip. When I tried earlier on to see what would happen, that I found it really difficult with that in the way. And also a suitcase with smaller teeth. This has got quite large teeth. Therefore, the point of the pen was able to actually get in there. So there you go. We proved it. I was going to have a great end of me destroying suitcases and jumping up and down. And all I can say now is thank you very, very much for watching. Hope to see you again. And if you're in a good mood, please subscribe to the channel because it really helps me get up there in the ratings with YouTube and get more viewers. So they can find out how to break into your suitcase. So anyway, that's it for now. So I'll say bye-bye and thank you very, very much for watching. Bye-bye.